Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Chat It Up. Kicking us off. My name, of course, Malcolm Miggy Harris. To my right, your left, the one and only, my man Drew Rogers. What's up, boy? How you doing?
I'm doing well, man. Just ready to kick it off.
Ready to kick it off, ready to blast off. Behind the scenes is the one and only, the producer, the engine that makes this thing go, Joseph Guthrie. What's up, baby?
It's so sweet. What's up, guys? How y'all doing?
Good. How you doing?
I'm alive.
Yeah?
after the emotional roller coaster that was this weekend. Dude.
Oh, bro, we're gonna talk all about it. And coming to us virtually from the great state of Alabama, the one, the only Coach Greg Larned. What's up, Coach G?
What up, fellas? I appreciate that. You know, Chase said the exact same thing last time I was virtual. I never thought I'd hear either one of y'all say the great state of Alabama.
Yeah, it was hard for me, and it's probably never going to happen again. Before we get into a wonderful show, we haven't had any theme music, and our ears have not bled to death. So with that being said, Joseph, give me some theme music. And you are back here on Chat It Up. Make sure you like and subscribe. Follow us on all platforms at Chat It Up Sports. Wherever you get your content, we are there. And fellas, I'm going to just kick it off. Y'all see me. I am in a Tennessee jersey. And what a game. Game of the year, Joseph. You're a dog. Let's just talk about it. How did you feel about your boys in the Mean Machine red and black, man?
At what point? Because I mean, there was a tumultuous amount of emotions throughout the course of this game. I mean, I rode some highs and I rode some lows, I guess.
Talk to me about your just emotion after the first quarter.
Oh man, kind of shocked a little bit. Yeah, that was mostly it, because it wasn't just that Joey was playing well. Joey was playing perfect. I mean, to start 14 for 14, I was looking at it and I was like, oh, this is okay. This is happening. This is the year. 8 was the run. It's been good. It's probably going to happen today. Of course, I should have known, watching Georgia and watching this program and watching Kirby Smart, they've had games where they've got punched in the mouth and been like, okay, we're going to settle, weather the storm, set the tone, play the game. They did it last year with Alabama. They tried to do it last year with Ole Miss. Did not work out. Did it last year with Tennessee. And again, it's just a testament to what Kirby's done with that program and what he's done with those players, where it's like, hey, things haven't gone our way the first quarter, but we're still alive. We're still in this. It starts one play at a time. So that was probably my first quarter assessment, was just shock, because Joey looked incredible in the first quarter.
Drew, G, thoughts, man? Just initially in the first quarter, how we feel?
Well, as the only person on this podcast currently with no dog in this fight, man, what a treat. It was awesome, dude. I mean, this game had my mouth wide open constantly. Pause there. We'll go ahead and throw that one out there. Yeah, man, I contrary to Joseph, and I know it's kind of hard to separate your fandom from what you're actually watching on the screen, I thought to myself after the first quarter, I was like, okay, if I'm Georgia, I feel pretty good that I'm not down 21-0 right now.
For sure.
And that Joey Aguilar has looked this good. Joey Aguilar is 14 for 14, because I want to give him his flowers, want to give him his credit. He was dealing, and he was not only dealing in the way that some Tennessee quarterbacks have in the past, where they kind of they're throwing it behind the line of scrimmage, or it's just a blown coverage. I mean, Joey was making some impressive, had to have him throws when he needed to early on, and even continuing late into the game. So I thought that Georgia was going to be just fine, but I'll be honest, the end result, I thought Tennessee was going to steal this one at Neyland.
Gee, I know you were watching this game. You were, right?
I was, yeah. I was actually with our old buddy Garrett Tolley.
Oh yeah,
watching
Shout
the game.
out to Mr. Garrett Tolley, CFO of Chatted Up Sports. Thoughts, man, when you were watching the game with Mr. Garrett Tolley?
Yeah, so everybody's going to talk about Joey Aguilar from a Tennessee standpoint, and rightfully so. I mean, as you guys just sort of laid out, he was pretty darn awesome in this game, and I think it was one of those games that told you, it was sort of like that question mark of like, okay, is this guy going to be good enough to get us to where we want to be in terms of being a college football playoff team? Nico never had a game like this against this level of an opponent. And I get it. Georgia's defense is young. They are still talented. They are still Georgia. That's still Kirby Smart on the other sideline. So to me, it was really impressive. And it was great to see. We talked about this. I remember talking about this before the season and talking about the expectations of Joey Aguilar. And I really just wanted to finally have a quarterback that Josh Heupel felt comfortable enough to say, you know what? I'm going to use it. Fuck it. Let's go for it. And let's throw the ball downfield. Let's let it rip. Let's let it go. I'm not enough of these wide receiver screens. He was hitting good passes over the middle, sideline throws, deep passes. I mean, he was doing everything you needed him to be able to do from a quarterback to run this offense. So that question for me got answered in this one. Also, the young wide receivers. I know we've talked a lot about Joey Aguilar, but let's talk a little bit about those wide receivers as well. They were making some big-time catches. Braylon Staley, Chris Brazzell, kind of the elder statesman of that group, really showing up and showing out as the number one wide receiver. And it feels like since Cedric Tillman and Jalen Hyatt were here, we've sort of struggled to find legitimate weapons at the wide receiver position. Really nice to see. And look, I know we love an offense that sort of spreads the love and spreads the wealth and has all of these different weapons and things like that. No, Tennessee knows exactly who they want to throw the football to, and they get those guys the football. And I'm okay with that because those guys were open. They made plays. Brazzell, Staley, Mike Matthews, even with a couple of big catches there as well, and getting the tight end a little bit involved. And then, look, Tennessee is supposed to be really good on defense. And so on the other side, I mean, we really haven't mentioned Gunnar Stockton all that much. I know Drew and Joseph talked extensively about this game on the instant reaction show after the fact on Saturday night. I tuned in for a little bit of that. Gunnar Stockton answered some questions in my mind, and I know a lot of people's mind as well. And I heard you guys talk about it. Everybody was kind of down on Gunnar Stockton. And I know you guys were talking about the comments of, on the video that Chase was kind of, dogging Gunnar Stockton a little bit. And people were getting on him and revisiting this video and things like that. And I was just happy to see Gunnar Stockton from a pure football standpoint. Obviously, I wanted Tennessee to win this football game, but it was a great football game nonetheless. I'm really pleased to see Gunnar Stockton have a moment like that. And with the absolute cojones to make that throw on fourth and whatever it was to get them within 2 on their final drive of regulation, hell of a throw. You got to give your hats off to Gunnar Stockton. And I know we've talked about Miami on this podcast as well. And it seems like the guys are in better fits now between Carson Beck being at Miami. It seems like a better fit for him there. And then Gunnar Stockton seems like more of a guy's guy, better teammate, just good old Georgia boy being the quarterback of the Georgia Bulldogs. So there's a lot of good things to see on both sides in this football game. It was just a really, really good football game. Sucks that it came down to a missed field goal on Tennessee's side that would have, won us the game. But I mean, just a great football game, great college football game overall.
No, I wholeheartedly agree. And being in Neyland, guys,
talk to me about that environment, bro.
It was the best environment I think I've been to at a Tennessee game. And I know recency bias is stating it, but it was setting up to be better than the Alabama game to me in 2022. It was the same thing, same exact emotion, but a kick was missed. Simple. I mean, that's all it was. A kick was missed. I mean, I want to shout out, my gosh, Kobe. What's his name, man?
Kobe,
yeah.
Kobe Young.
Kobe Young is a superstar in the making. Like seeing him in real time, Joseph, I was like, hey, Georgia's got one. And Zachariah obviously had a great game. Yeah. Kobe Young was the difference. Yeah. Like, I feel so bad for Ty, our freshman cornerback, because he learned what it was to be in the SEC as a cornerback.
Yeah.
There was nowhere to hide. And Colby made a man out of him on Saturday. Like it was. And I really enjoyed
I see you.
It was wild, dog. It was wild.
Colby's every bit of 6'6", dude. And he was somebody that was supposed to play a big role last year, had some off the field stuff that ultimately turned out in his favor. So it was really good in the offseason when they were like, hey, Colby Young's back. He's back with the team. He's full of practice, full go. It was like, big sigh of relief because you felt good about Noah Thomas coming in, but Colby was supposed to be that guy last year. He's got another year in the program over Noah. And like you said, I mean, they hung him out there one-on-one with a freshman corner, and Mike Bobo and Gunner were like, okay, yep, we're going there. And it worked. And from that moment on, it was like, okay, we're going to attack this guy because we just like the matchup. We like our 6 because he's every bit of 6'6", dude. He's a big dude. He's a big receiver. And it's something that it's a lot to ask your freshman corner to do. Who I think for the most part, remind me his name again. Ty
Redmond.
Yeah. I don't think he had the worst game he could have had. Obviously, you could see the inexperience in him, but I don't think he had the worst game that he could have had. So, like, he grew up a lot in that game, which I think will pay dividends for you
in the future.
While you're waiting on Jermod McCoy and Ricky Gibson to come back, because they'll come back. It's not like they're done for the year.
I think Ricky's done for the year. I think,
you think
people aren't admitting, but I was looking at VolQuest. Supposedly he has a torn pec, and they're just not saying anything. But Jermod is going to be back before Ricky. That was stated by Josh Heupel today.
Yeah.
Speaking of Josh Heupel, I am so proud of Josh, Coach Heupel, but I'm going to be critical right now and say whenever that fumble happened, he should have went for the jugular.
Yeah.
And he didn't. He played to not lose, and he didn't play to win.
That's something that Drew and I pointed out on the Instant Reaction show is like, and that's not just on Josh. Like, there was a time when the KJ interception happened, Georgia had a chance to go up and would have been 31-21. And man, you had already gone on this long drive where you run the ball like 13 times in a row and you just killed the energy in the stadium. So it's like, if you get that play and then you go up by 10, I don't want to say it's over, but it's really hard to recover from that after the way that game had gone. So I think there's moments like that exist on both sides.
Yeah.
For Kirby and for Mike Bobo and for Josh Heupel. And it ultimately came down to, like, I mean, the last second field goal, but you had a chance, which is part of the reason why, like, it's really easy to look at Max Gilbert and be like, it's your fault. We lost. But it's like, dude, you gave up 44 points.
Yeah.
In OT. So, I mean, it's kind of similar, and I know we'll probably talk about this game a little bit later, but it's kind of similar to the Notre Dame game. A lot of Notre Dame fans are blaming Tyler Buchner. It's like, that's 1 point out of the other 44 or 41 you scored. So, like,
could have stopped on 4th and goal from the 11.
Exactly. And it goes back to, I think that was your moment, that when it's 35-0, or sorry, not 35-0, 35-30. Yeah, 35-0. It really would have been over. When it's 35-30, going up 42-30 is almost,
it's insurmountable.
Yeah, it almost seals it, because I mean, what that does for the crowd in the game, because when you kick the field goal and it's 8 points, it's like you're happy, you're up by 8, but it's not over yet.
But hold on,
you can feel that a little bit.
Can we talk about what the flip side would have been? What if they go for it on 4th and 6 from the 30 and then they don't make it, and then Georgia's just down 5, they come and score a touchdown?
Yeah.
And then, we're talking about a deficit. I think actually Josh Heupel played it the right way. I understand what you're saying about being a little conservative, but if you were like 4th and like 2, I could see that being a little bit more of a conversation. But 4th and 6 to me is like that's kind of tough. Might as well just kick the field goal here. Let's go up 1 score. They can't take the lead on us if they score. So to me, I loved what Josh Heupel did there. I know his defense wasn't really stopping as much of the Georgia offense as he would have liked to be, but you put yourself in a good position there to say, all right, look, even if they score and even if they do tie it, again, that's all they can do is they can tie it at the best. They have to get a touchdown plus a 2-point conversion. Our offense is moving the football well enough that I feel like, hey, we can get ourselves in position, even if they do tie it, to win the game at the end, whether it's with a touchdown or a field goal. And that's exactly what happened. And then just a missed field goal. So I think, in my eyes, Josh Heupel played it the right way. in that circumstance. So I wasn't actually mad about the decision Josh Heupel made in that situation.
No, I don't think it's a point of being mad. And I'm not necessarily
some
saying
Tennessee fans were mad that like,
we
didn't go for the jugular. Like Miggy just said, like, I think it's more complicated than that, especially with the 4th and 6. I'm like, I get why Heupel kicked it. Like,
and I'm not arguing that he should have went for it on 4th down. No, I think when it hits 4th down, you kick the field goal. Yeah. I'm talking about 1st down, 2nd down, and 3rd down. I'm talking about your choice.
They got
of
put
plays
behind the sticks. They got put behind the sticks with a penalty at first.
And see, that's ultimately it's just like the field goal too. You get in that position, you get to make the game-winning field goal, boom, false start.
Yeah.
So it's like it's a multitude of things that happen, but and the same thing for Georgia. Like if you after that KJ interception, they kind of called conservative on that next drive with those run plays. And it's like, well, if we'd have got a touchdown here, it really could have built a lot of momentum for us. So I think not necessarily that Josh didn't go for it on 4th down. That's not what I'm pinpointing as the problem with something he should have done. I'm saying their choices on 1st, 2nd, and 3rd down. But the way that you had called that game and the way that you had been as aggressive as you were, it felt like when I watched those 3 plays, it was like you shelled up a little bit.
Yeah.
And that was one of the moments where it's like, hey, of course, obviously, if we're talking about the 4th down, they go for it on 4th down and fail and miss. You lost the game anyways. Like you still ended up losing. So yeah, you could play that. I would have agreed with Josh to go for it on 4th down for the field goal being, but I don't know. I felt like the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd down calls were just not what they'd been doing that had led to early success.
I was really impressed all the way around. 100%. It was a great game day atmosphere. I will say I hope to see a rematch.
We very well could.
I really hope to see a rematch because it was spectacular. It really was. And just to see Tennessee potentially at full strength, with their top 2 corners, supposedly at least one coming back, and then defensive linemen, offensive linemen, I want to see it again.
Yeah. Dude, with the way, like looking around the college football landscape, with the way that Texas looked, Alabama's beat up on UL Monroe and a dead Wisconsin team. Like I don't mean to take a shot at Wisconsin when they're down, but we don't really know yet like how much of that identity of Alabama was really revealed in that Florida State game. We'll find out in 2 weeks. But with the way Florida looked Saturday night with LSU's also had some issues on offense. Their defense is great, but you only put up 13 points and you had 5 extra possessions. Like it feels like that game at 3:30, we watched the best 2 teams in the SEC.
Yeah, no.
From what we've seen to this point, I don't think that's far-fetched to say. Now, don't get me wrong, Texas A&M looked really good, but part of their success against Notre Dame, Marcel Reed's under 50% completion percentage. Mario Craver's getting a lot of yards after catch. So, like, how repeatable is that? I don't know. I don't want to discount A&M because that's a huge win, but, like, just the complete package of what we watched in Neyland Stadium, it felt like, okay, right now this is 1-2. Until somebody asserts themselves as dominant, because we watched Clemson, that Clemson win for LSU all of a sudden looks
fraudulent,
kind of gross.
Yeah,
it just looks kind of gross.
And I'm nervous that Florida's going to get beat up this week against Miami.
Yeah, I'm worried. My worry for Florida for this week is quit watch. Florida's on quit watch.
Yeah.
Because, if they go in there and they just get bullied and manhandled and you're 1-3 and it's like, well, shit,
Opening lines for that game are now officially at 7.5, according to FanDuel and DraftKings. I will say there is somebody that scares me, and somebody to my right can talk about him and his football team.
And his mom.
Vanderbilt Commodores are terrifying. What's up, bro?
Yeah. Okay. So I kind of touched a little bit on this early in the season, and I've kind of just been like, it's like a little 2-minute thing we do on the instant reaction thing. They're pretty good. They're not like, I think Tennessee and Georgia are definitely better programs and definitely possess the better talent this year. I think Alabama's better than them. I even think you could probably throw Texas A&M as a full team unit. They're definitely better than Vanderbilt. But here's the thing. This Vanderbilt team just has a lot of FU in it, and they just continue to show up against teams like South Carolina and Virginia Tech that are pretty stale. They're pretty flat. They're relying on a lot of transfers. This is a Vanderbilt team that fights the whole game. They actually are pretty scrappy, which is not been the traditional Commodore way. And what I talked to Joseph about is Vanderbilt's going to be 5-0 going into the Alabama game. I think pretty definitively. They're going to be 5-0. They get Georgia State and Utah State the next 2 weeks. And this Vanderbilt team so far has had no hiccups. I'm a little more worried about Utah State. I actually think they're not bad. I've caught a little bit of their season this year. They played Texas A&M 2 weeks ago. They played UTEP the first week. But I am worried that they're going to be 5-0. They're going to go into Bryant-Denny with what happened last year against Alabama. Alabama, is going to be turned up for that game. Yeah, Vanderbilt, they're not going to be looking to lose to Vanderbilt twice in a row. So I'm worried that we're going to get to 5-0 Vanderbilt. They'll be ranked about 15th. That feels right, unless some real craziness happens above them. And then the bottom's just going to fall out, and this Alabama team's going to remind everybody who the Crimson Tide are. But no, they're really good. The defense is much better than expected. Eli Stowers and Diego Pavia are as advertised. Cedric Alexander is creeping up there in the halfback rankings in the SEC for me. Oh, by the way, good Star Thomas call. He was real good in the Georgia game. You were all over that when we had Shump on. You were talking about how Star. I meant to say that.
Thank you.
I thought Thomas was by far the most effective of the 3 Tennessee backs. But yeah, I'm not there yet with Vanderbilt. Back to my. I'm not there yet. I've never been a fan of a Vanderbilt team where there are expectations, but I still don't have any. I still think this team is going to struggle down the stretch, but they look good right now. They look good, and I don't think South Carolina.
So kicking off love-hate, we're going to go to my man in Alabama, Greg. When it comes to love-hate, we do this segment every week. Give me one thing that you loved about college football this week, and give me something you absolutely hated.
Can I start with the hate first?
Yeah, absolutely, bro.
I want to get the hate out of the way. So as you guys well know, and I'm sure some of our listeners know from me talking about it, I have very much an affinity for my man Billy Napier and covering him at Louisiana and getting a chance to talk to him on my radio show for a season. I think he's just a really good man, and I've started to watch some of that SEC on any given Saturday documentary, and I just got through watching one of the early episodes where they kind of focused on Florida and all the hate and stuff that he took, and how everybody wanted DJ, and now DJ goes up and he's got a real opportunity against a team like Florida, or excuse me, like a team like LSU in Baton Rouge, and he goes out there and throws 5 interceptions. So I hated that for the Florida Gators, and knowing how difficult their schedule was last year, how they finished the year, which I loved, and then obviously how they've started this season. I really hate that. I know a lot of Tennessee fans hate Florida, so they love to see it, but I just hate it for my man Billy Napier. So that's the big thing that I hated this week in college football. Now, the thing that I loved, man, give me a second on this one, because I kind of want to sift through what I saw this past weekend, because there was a lot of different things. I mean, there's a lot of different situations. I mean, you could talk about, you know what? I got this game wrong, and I'll go with this one. I got this game wrong. I picked Clemson over Georgia Tech. I want to give some love to that Georgia Tech team. I loved the way they played. Haynes King may not have had the most incredible stat line, didn't throw for 3 touchdowns, run for another. But that dude, you talked about being gritty, describing Vanderbilt, Drew.
Yeah.
That's exactly what this Georgia Tech team is. They're
very
built
similar
on
teams. Very similar.
Grit, dirtiness, toughness, and Haynes King perfectly encapsulates that, much like Diego Pavia, as you just mentioned. My man only had 211 passing yards through the air, but he rushed for a $103 and had to score himself and got that team set up in a place where they could kick a game-winning field goal, and it was an absolute bomb. And just sending Dabo down the drain. And with everybody expecting Dabo and Cade Klubnik to have this incredible season, this bounce-back year after they snuck their way into the postseason last year, and everybody, Clemson is back. Dabo's actually dipping into the transfer portal. Cade Klubnik is the real deal. He's a Heisman contender, this, that, and the other thing. Hogwash. give me Georgia Tech and give me Haynes King. They're just fun to watch. And that was what I loved this weekend, even though it hurt my heart because I got it wrong in the core 4.
I was on an island. Y'all left me on an island.
I know. I just wanted to believe in Clemson, but they're proving to me that they're giving me nothing to believe in.
All right. So next up, Jay.
Oh, okay. We kind of had the same hate a little bit, but it's less about like you hating it for Billy Napier and me hating choices that Billy Napier made. You've got a really good running back in Jaden Baugh, and in the USF game, you chose not to use him to his full effectiveness, and I feel like you did it again in the LSU game. And you've got a quarterback out there in a hostile environment who is really talented but really young, and he's not seeing it, and he's throwing a lot of picks, and you're still sending him out there and throwing the ball with him. Like, I feel like you should have taken the chance to run the ball and play defense to win this game instead of trying to go out there and pitch it with DJ. He was just struggling, man. And it's like he fell off a cliff and he hit every branch on the way down and just, I don't know. I don't love the choice to just keep beating your head against the wall with DJ and ultimately leading to him throwing 5 picks in a game that you were not that far behind in. So I feel like you could have chosen to lean more on Jaden Baugh. As far as what I loved, backyard brawl, man. I didn't get to watch as much of this game as I wanted to, but I'll tell you what I loved. What I love about it is a struggling West Virginia team. They ended up benching their starting quarterback who comes back in overtime and helps them win the game.
Yeah.
So
that was gonna be my hate. Okay.
Give me the winning of the backyard brawl and the celebration. The game itself, I didn't love. But that moment when you're a guy that has struggled, you got benched, you come back in, and you end up winning the game for your team, I love to see that.
Respect it.
Wow. Malcolm, go ahead. I'm still getting mine together.
Nah. I'm so sorry. I don't know where that was coming from, fellas. All right, so my love is pretty simple. I mean, you guys took the majority of them, but I am going to go with Mr. Ryan Williams at Alabama, just to see Ryan finally score.
Very nice.
For the first time in what, a year? He hasn't scored since Mercer. So his stat line, so for our listeners, so they know, my man had 5 receptions for 165, 2 tutties, 33 yards per catch. Ryan Williams is no slouch, and I think that Georgia's going to see him in 2 weeks, and he's going to look like the best receiver in the country. If Chris Brazzell, love him to death, but Ryan Williams is infinitely better than Chris Brazzell. So give me Ryan for my love of the week. My hate is Drew. It's sad, and Tennessee fans are going to look at me like I'm crazy. My hate of the week is not for the reason I don't hate him, but I hate it for him. Nico Iamaleava.
Yeah.
He's in a bad situation right now, dog. Like, honestly, if you're his dad or if you're his agent or people around him, I advise him probably not to play another game for UCLA.
Take the red shirt year, you think?
And just, well, he's already redshirted. That's the thing.
Okay.
But it's like, people are going to be like, yo, you can't play ball.
Yeah.
You know, like, I would just quit on him.
I don't know. Here's the one thing about that. I don't know if he can anymore, because I see what you're saying. Like just leave and transfer. He's looked so like bad, and UCLA as a result has looked so bad that there may not be a whole lot of scholarship out there for him left. Like, he may get into the Malachi Nelson lane if he leaves this UCLA Bruins team. That would be my one like kind of pushback, because we've seen this with 5 stars. Although your name does carry a long way as a 5-star, it only goes so far. And if you want to stay in somewhat P4 relevance, I don't know if you can leave.
Well, he's not going to the NFL. That's out. NFL is out unless he wants to go undrafted.
Yeah.
It is out. So, like, what do? You cannot stay at UCLA. There's no way. Coach is out. They're going to bring in a new coach, new coordinators, new regime. They're going to want their own guy. What, I mean...
Yeah, not to get into it too far, but yeah, I agree with you. It's this is a no-win situation that he's now put himself in.
Like,
Sure.
and it sucks.
Yeah.
So I hate it for him. That's my hate of the week.
Yeah.
What about you? What's your love-hate, bro?
My love is that the SEC has 11 ranked teams, and the SEC definitively looks like the best conference.
Yeah.
And I will die on the hill every single time when the Big Ten fans come for us and they say, no, this is the Big Ten's the best this year. No, you just don't get it. Like, you're just being an SEC bias guy. Nope. SEC is still the best. Simple. That's my love. My hate was the fact that I watched the Houston, Colorado game on Friday night. You want to talk about a disgusting, awfully coached game? You can watch the Colorado Buffaloes at any point this year. Man, Houston is not very good. They have Wegman as their quarterback, who transferred from Texas A&M. Excuse me. And man, I just found myself so disappointed because a good chunk of my feed for the last 2 years in college football has been Deion-related content, and I watched that game, and it's just a letdown. It's a letdown of a product, and it made me kind of mad, to be honest.
Let's talk about that briefly, because Shedeur Sanders must be the best quarterback of the last 5 years. They look like a completely different football team.
They also lost.
Travis had a little something to do with that.
Yeah, they lost Travis, but more than that, they lost their other top 2 receivers as well, which I don't think
LaJohntay Webster and
Horn.
Yeah.
Like, they both left as well. This is a depleted Colorado team that I thought might just be okay because the Big 12 is really kind of up in the air, and you don't know what you're getting week to week with that. But this is kind of a piss poor team, and
sure.
they're not coached particularly well by old Coach Prime.
Can I add something that I loved this week? I know
Please,
I referenced it a little bit earlier, but I really hope that live interview with Theo Vaughn was actually accurate, and he actually did get a chance to
did you see the Twitter update today? Did you see that?
No, I did not.
Diego Pavia said, actually, the deal was he can only take my mom on a date if Theo Vaughn gets me a date with Tate McRae in Nashville.
Wow.
Yeah, on Twitter. He actually tweeted that. So,
wow.
Yeah,
Nice.
and I'm talking, this is a Vanderbilt team that's had Theo Vaughn and ISO Speed at their practice in the last week. Imagine if Tate McRae put on a Commodore jersey. You talking about making
went
Vanderbilt
out on a date with Diego?
You talking about making Vanderbilt cool? Like, that's a cool
the
school
around Nashville is so high right now.
There's some stars in the star, bro.
Who cares if you don't have First Bank Stadium 50% of the way done? Yeah, sweep that under the rug. SEC Network cameras will cover that up. You got Tate McRae, ISO Speed, and Theo Vaughn. Perfect.
Oh shoot, that was amazing. I loved that, and glad we got a little update there. And I hope that works out for everybody involved. I hope it works out for Theo, Diego's mom, the mom, and Tate McRae and Diego.
Yeah, good vibes all around in Nashville.
I hope they kick Alabama's ass again.
Thank you. That means a lot. I will say, keep your expectations low because they're going on the road. But
yes, I'm going to keep them low. But my hope is high.
For sure. Mine too. Are we getting to the questions? Is this the time where we
I think it's the time and place.
Use your questions in?
I think it's the time and place.
Do you guys want me to kind of you want me to captain the first question, and then we'll kind of go around the room? We'll kind of go get everybody's opinion.
Let's do it.
Doesn't have to get everybody's opinion on every single question, obviously. But we asked on socials, on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, again, like Malcolm said at the beginning of the episode, go follow us over there. Love engaging with you guys. Love putting out bonus content, Core 4, Chat Slip. I record my television on Twitter. Somehow you guys really like that. But we have 12 questions here. Well, we may not be able to make it to all of them, but we have 7 NCAA and 5 NFL. So I know you boys are big, Greg and Malcolm. You guys are big NFL guys, maybe a little bit more than Joseph and myself.
Yeah.
So I want to start with something that is a little bit closer to Malcolm. And it's pretty recent after Sunday Night Football.
Yeah.
Are the Falcons finally back in playoff contention for you?
1,000%. I saw a dominant Atlanta Falcons team for the first time. A decade?
Yeah.
A decade?
Sure.
Yeah. I can definitively say that. I mean, defense.
So you're in. You're not.
I'm all in.
So you're not like, but maybe this. No, okay.
No, I'm all in. I think the one question mark is offensive play calling by Zach Robinson. Like it's been bad, and it's been like coaching malpractice, like not getting the plays in on time and looking up at the play clock and you have 8 seconds. Almost had 3 delay of game penalties, but clean up the operational stuff. I think it's a great freaking football team.
Greg.
Whoa, voice crack on that one.
Very bad. Yeah,
good. I was gonna let it ride.
Didn't hit the back of the throat. Yeah, Malcolm didn't say anything. I was like, it must not have been as bad.
I was gonna let it ride.
Yeah.
No, I had to hold your feet to the fire. No, when it comes to the Falcons, I've been saying this for the Falcons for the last couple of years, and I truly did believe it, that in this division, in the NFC South, they should be a playoff contending team, and they should be the team that comes out of that division and be a playoff team. But it's been the Bucs for the last couple of years. The Saints have been terrible. Despite Dave Canales going there in Carolina, they've been bad. Bryce Young up and down, just not a very good football team. The Falcons have underperformed for the last couple of years. And I know the quarterback position has been a big point of contention. It wasn't fantastic in that game on Sunday Night Football against the Vikings, but you did go into a very hostile environment and you did what you needed to do, and you beat the team not needing to throw the football all over the yard. You leaned on your 2 best offensive players, or 2 of your 3 best offensive players. I know we've got Drake London there as well, but Bijan Robinson was money on Sunday night, and then Tyler Algier just came in and just wore those boys down late in the game in some of those drives. So I was super excited to see what you saw out of the Falcons. I've been trying to believe in them for the last couple of years. They were actually able to, Malcolm, get a bit of a pass rush on Sunday. Holy crap.
6 sacks.
Yes. When was the last time you saw the Falcons have 6 sacks in a football game?
Vic Beasley Jr.
Yeah, it's been since 2016. It's crazy. And I love that you showed some love to the running backs, but specifically Tyler Algier. I think for Atlanta fans, this is the last season he will be in Atlanta.
Sure. Because he should have been traded.
He should have been traded, and he's going to walk for nothing, and that's fine. I'm cool with that.
Like the Cowboys have, and I know he's played well, so this is going to be a kind of a bad comparison, but the Cowboys backfield right now is Javonte Williams and 39-year-old Miles Sanders.
Yeah.
And then Atlanta has a guy like Bijan that can take 22 carries a game, go for 143. He's making guys miss all over the field. They're running him outside zone. They're running him in between the tackles. They're getting him involved in the screen game. And then the defense is like, man, finally, this guy's going out of the game. No, here comes this 220-pound bowling ball who's just going to bowl you over in the middle. And by the way, he's only taken 15 snaps this game. He's fresh and ready to get this 3rd and 2 conversion.
Yo.
It's a scary 1-2 punch that I finally think they figured out. For the last 2 years, I've been very frustrated. Why is Algier in now? Why is Bijan out of the game now?
Yeah.
Or vice versa. Why is Bijan in on 3rd and 1? Like, this is where you bring Algier in. I've seen some real improvement from this coaching staff understanding where their running backs are at.
There's been a lot of running backs that come through Atlanta. Mr. Robinson might be the best when it's all said and done. He did some stuff last night I haven't seen in a very long time.
Dude, that it was a 2nd down run late in the game when they go on that drive.
Yeah.
And Bijan goes to the outside and he made 3 players miss in like a 4-yard span. And I don't think I've ever seen any halfback be able to jump cut as effectively and make grown men just look stupid and pick up something that he should have lost yards on.
I know it's blasphemy, but it reminds me of LaDainian Tomlinson. Like, it really does. Like, just the cuts by himself. Like, I don't know.
I hope so, for your sake.
G, sticking into the NFL, we got a question for James. Are you worried that the Packers do not have a definitive wide receiver 1?
That honestly does worry me a little bit. I do like the playmakers that they have there. And what I will not be worried about is if the tight end group can continue to do what they're doing. If Tucker Kraft can continue to morph into a legitimate receiving threat. And I don't want to throw the names around like George Kittle and Travis Kelce and whatnot, because he's not there yet. But from what you've seen out of a guy like Tucker Kraft, it seems like he may have that type of capability to be something like these guys if he continues on the path and builds off of what he did, last week on Thursday Night Football against the Commanders. So that's the only reason why I'm not super worried about it. Jaden Reed just broke his collarbone. He'll be out for a while, which really does suck. And I do believe at some point that's going to come back to bite the Packers. They're one of those teams that like to spread the ball around, but when you need a big-time play from a big-time wide receiver, that's what I worry about in those big moments. So if you've got this type of what some are calling an elite level defense at this point, it may not be that big of a deal, but Jordan Love looks pretty awesome. I think he's had 9 straight games, I think it is, without an interception. I know that was a big point of contention for him early in the year last year. So I like that. He seems like he's being smart with the football. And I really don't believe that Matt LaFleur has got all the way into his bag. Obviously, it's only been 2 weeks through the NFL season. So I am excited to see what's next and how they utilize Matthew Golden as he gets more acclimated with the NFL. I don't think we've seen, obviously, anything based on his draft stock where we drafted him as a number 1 wide receiver. I don't think we've seen his potential yet. So I'm still holding out hope that there is some semblance of that dynamic wide receiver that, like you guys were talking about. I think James had asked the question. So does it worry me? Yes, it does worry me a little bit, but less than in years past, because now I've seen, again, it's only 2 weeks, so it's a small sample size, but I feel pretty comfortable that we can win games with our defense. And Jordan Love doesn't have to do everything, and these wide receivers don't have to do everything because you still got a really solid running game. Josh Jacobs has scored in 11 straight games as well. So if Tucker Kraft can continue to move the way he's moving, I feel a little less worried. But as of right now, I still am a bit worried that we don't have a legitimate number 1 threat as a wide receiver.
Sure. I think that's fair.
Yeah.
But I will say one thing that I've noticed this year more about the Packers is, one, Christian Watson. Is he hurt?
He's out. Yeah, he tore his ACL.
That's right. Yeah.
Like 3/4 of the way through the year last year, kind of towards the end.
Sure. So one thing that I've noticed though is so Christian Watson's out, and then the Packers running these 2 guys, Malik Heath and Emmanuel Wilson, who I think are starters on not all teams, but a good percentage of teams. I think Malik Heath and Emmanuel Wilson are really good receivers and have been able to fill in for the receiver 2 and receiver 3 spot when necessary. So I do wonder, is that just going to be enough? Receiver by committee, maybe Romeo Doubs takes a little step up to receiver 1. Of course, last year he gets suspended because, he did want to be their wide receiver 1. But that's the only thing I wonder with the Packers.
Yeah, Emmanuel Wilson, I think he's more of a running back at this point. But I do like Savion Williams. They had him doing a little.
My fault. That's on me. Yeah.
No, you're good.
You're absolutely right.
I got you.
You're absolutely right.
He looked a little bit explosive. They drew some things up for him. I like Savion, see what he can maybe do as a speed guy. Again, he'll probably slot into that Jaden Reed role while he's not there. But another guy, Dontavian Wicks, if he has actual hands this year where he can catch the football, I'd feel really good about him because his route running ability has proven to be really good. And early on in his career, people were comparing him to Devontae Adams. Again, I know, very overhyped, like Miggy just talked about LaDainian Tomlinson and Bijan Robinson, but I think that's more of a close comparison.
Wicks is amazing, dude.
I like Dontavian Wicks.
Yeah, he's a great ball
He's another
player.
one that's just like
I don't know if he's great. He's good. I think he has the potential to be good, but again, he needs to show consistency. Like I was excited going into last year because I'm like, we got all these guys. Like we just paid our quarterback. We have a bunch of young wide receivers. Nobody's really proven this is the way that we're going to win. And then nobody really stepped up. Jordan was playing hurt, and it was kind of rough, and everybody was just sort of leaning on Josh Jacobs. That's where Wicks needs to come. You need Romeo Doubs to step up and play well.
We got two pauses.
Yeah.
All right.
Nuts.
Matthew Golden didn't catch a single pass in that game on Thursday Night Football. The ceiling is too high on Matthew Golden to think that he's not going to be a factor at some point where he's going to have multiple 75-plus wide receiver games, receiving games with multiple touchdowns. So the ceiling is still high for him there. They wouldn't have taken him in the first round if it wasn't. So I'm going to continue to believe that eventually Matthew Golden, once he gets his feet under him, that he will eventually separate himself and be that dynamic wide receiver that the Packers have been sort of missing.
Matthew Golden was open a lot on Thursday.
Yeah, Jordan Love did him a disservice on that first ball that he threw to the end zone for him. He underthrew him about.
Yeah.
I mean, it was an underthrow by about 5 yards.
Matthew Golden was open a lot.
That sucked.
And he had him on a go ball down the middle and just overshot him. So
yeah.
Those are going to happen sometimes. You're going to miss those big time throws sometimes. They're low percentage throws, but he's got to be better on that. And that's a great point, Miggy, that he's gotten open and there's opportunity for Matthew Golden. Those guys just got to connect.
I will say, last thing on the Packers before we move on to another question. If you're in GM mode right now, G, you taking a flyer on Tyreek? You shipping off like a Romeo Dobbs in the third rounder?
Nope. He doesn't fit the culture of what the Packers are.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
Yeah.
I think Jair was a little bit of a diva, and you saw how far that got him.
And I think that's why Romeo got suspended. He was kind of being a little bit of a diva as well, as you alluded to before, which I love Romeo Dobbs. I think he has really good potential to just be like a Donald Driver, like steady Eddie, really good wide receiver, not a number one on any team, but just like a solid number 2 or number 3.
Sure.
All right, so shifting gears, and it's a little hot in the foundation right now.
Always hot.
But it's
especially with you guys in there.
Some coaches have some seats that are hot. Fellas, and it doesn't matter who wants to pick this one up first. Is there this is from Sarah, by the way, any coaches on the hot seat, and do you see something that you know is not going to work right now? Are you seeing like a coach that's just like, yo, what are we doing?
This is NFL.
Yeah, this is NFL.
Yeah. Okay, so I hope we can all agree that Mike McDaniel is gone. No matter, it would take them making the playoffs for Mike McDaniel. And we kind of talked a little bit before we got on here about, is this Mike McDaniel's fault, or is this more of just it's just time for this thing to get blown up?
Yeah.
And I think that's what it is, because I think McDaniel's going to be a good he's obviously a great coordinator, and I think he'll have a job next year. If he does end up getting canned off the McVay, Shanahan, all that good stuff connection. But Mike McDaniel is gone if they start 0-3. Heck, he may be gone tomorrow. A lot of teams like to wait till Monday Night Football gets over to fire their coach in the NFL. It's just not going to work. The thing's run its course. It's time to get Tyreek out of there. It's time to get what you can for him. It's time to. I don't even know what you do with Tua, because McDaniel has built this offense so specifically around him. But for me, one person that I see that the seat is, flaming hot is Mike McDaniel.
So when I'm looking at coaches, and I love this guy, I just think the Brian Daboll experience might be over in New York. It's just not even his fault. But he could just never get it done. Like, guys, Russell Wilson there's a sicko out there that put up $500 on Russell Wilson to lead the NFL in passing and just made $250,000 on Sunday because Russ was cooking like it was 2013. Malik Neighbors had 165. It should have been 205. It just wasn't enough. And it's never enough for Brian Daboll. So I think his seat is not Mike McDaniel's hot, but man, it is lukewarm. It's up there. What about you, G?
I'll tell you what, speaking on Russell Wilson, dude, that throw that he hit, I believe it was Neighbors at the end of the game there to give the Giants the lead. That was as vintage Russell Wilson as you could get. Like the high arcing pass, the deep bomb that he threw. Like, I wasn't sure Russ could cook like that anymore. I know the Cowboys defense is what it is, especially without Michael Parsons, but man, hats off to him, because that was an incredible performance. The Giants just suck, and you're right. Daboll's going to be gone. Mike McDaniel's going to be gone. And you want to know another guy who's going to be gone at some point, whether it's this year or after the season? It's a man. Huh?
So I think I might know, yeah.
It's a guy who is currently, over the last 2 seasons, between last year and this year, 3-16. He was part of giving this quarterback what some will consider the worst contract in NFL history, the worst trade in NFL history. And I'm talking about the Cleveland Browns. I was talking about Deshaun Watson and Kevin Stefanski. That is a very difficult division. And yes, I know he went 11-6 in 2023, but it's a what have you done for me lately league. And I know he's running out Joe Flacco, and he's He's got Myles Garrett locked up, but to me, they just need to start over with a new voice there because Kevin Stefanski has not been it. He's made the playoffs twice in his tenure, and other than that, he really hasn't done much in Cleveland. And again, part of one of the worst trades, one of the worst deals in NFL history. They need to just can him and start fresh because they've got a lot of young, good talent there between Jerry Jeudy, and you were right about him, Malcolm. I wasn't sure about him coming out of Denver, but he's played really well, kind of morphing into that number one wide receiver. Cedric Tillman. I've been high on this guy since Tennessee. Love what he's been able to do. Dylan Sampson getting his first touchdown. Quinshon Junkins obviously making his debut this past week as well. Shador's there. Dylan Gabriel, getting an opportunity to throw his first career touchdown pass. So they've got young talent. So to me, they just need to get rid of Stefanski, get somebody else in there, get a fresh start with a new draft, kind of clean house a little bit and sort of start over because I think the Kevin Stefanski experience is done.
No, I get that.
Wow.
I get that.
Where did you think I was going?
Brian Callahan.
Okay.
Yeah. When you said 3-16, I was like, oh, it's Brian Callahan. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I know we all answered, but Brian Callahan should be fired. Like, I get it. It's only he's a year and 2 games into this, but you can tell when coaches don't have it. Brian Callahan does not have it. And this team, every game that he coaches for them is another game where they are wasting time. I'm not that vocal on firing coaches because sometimes the trigger is pulled way too quick. But Brian Callahan he's awful. There's no other way I can put it.
Last NFL question before we pivot back into college football with our questions. Biggest surprise of the year when it comes to players, and I'll start this one off because and I do this every year, Greg, and you hate it because last year it was Sam Darnold. If MVP ended today, Daniel Jones is walking away with that bad boy.
Oh, gosh.
Daniel Jones is walking away with that bad boy. He has been lights out. For fantasy owners, I know you can't stand him because I have Jonathan Taylor, and I have been a victim of quite a few Daniel rushing touchdowns. Dude, Danny Dimes, he was not the problem in New York. It's clear. He's a ball player.
Yeah. Biggest surprise this year for me.
It can be bad too.
Yeah, it's that Caleb Williams looks this erratic and inconsistent, and just generally not as you would expect a second-year quarterback who was drafted number 1 overall, who had a tough rookie year, and then gets the whiz kid coordinator in. You would kind of expect there to be some signs of growth for Caleb Williams, and there's just not a lot there. He just kind of looks panicked.
Yeah.
He kind of looks panicked when he's pressured. What made him so good in college was his ability to improvise and to create down the field. And I don't think that's translated at an NFL level. And I do want him to be a factor in this league. I want Caleb Williams, the big name. I want him to make the Bears good. I want them to be a threat. But man, Caleb Williams has just looked. I don't know if he's looked worse than he did last year, but he is for sure not gotten any better.
Okay, when it comes to me, I was kind of thinking kind of along the same lines as both of you guys there. And I mean, you could talk about Ben Johnson as well and getting his ass kicked against his former team with the Lions after the Lions kind of offensively got shut down in that first week. And everybody's like, oh my gosh, Ben Johnson is gone. So now the offense is gone in Detroit. And Detroit made a statement on the offensive side of things against their old buddy and Ben Johnson this past weekend against the Chicago Bears. So big statement for the Lions there. But I'm going to go with the Kansas City Chiefs as a whole, and I'm not going to say that Patrick Mahomes, they've lost Xavier Worthy. Rashee Rice is out for a couple games with the suspension. Trav's engaged, and he's a different man now and the whole thing. And
on the injury report, engaged.
Oh man,
yeah, exactly.
He is showing out every time he catches the ball. It this year. I mean, man, he was some excited celebrations there after a few 10-yard catches.
He knows.
Yeah, and look, I get it. They played the Chargers and they played the Eagles. I'm not ready to throw up the warning signs right now, but in years past, the Kansas City Chiefs, despite who they were going up against, would find a way to win football games. now they just don't seem like that team that's finding ways to win football games. And I'll be honest, Patrick Mahomes just doesn't even look as sharp as we've seen him in these first 2 weeks. And again, I'm not saying that he's going to be trash or he's going to be terrible or anything along those lines, but he hasn't looked as sharp. And for the first time in a very long time, this Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes-led team with Steve Spagnuolo as the DC on the other side of the football there for the Chiefs, 0-2. So to me, that is one of the most surprising things to me. Just in general, I'm going to go team instead of player specific. But yeah, did not see the Chiefs going 0-2 to start this season.
That's a great take. And speaking of great takes, we have the man with nonstop great takes back for our final segment. This is love-hate for college football. And Jay, let's just kick it off, man. This is going to be from Michael. Based on what you've seen 3 weeks in, who do you have the most faith in making a run in the college football playoff? What's up, Jay?
Oh, this is easy, dog. This is Oregon. The way that they've looked this season, the way that Dante Moore's looked, and how clean and crisp he's looked, what Will Stein's done with him.
Yeah.
He's a wizard, by the way. If you guys haven't watched, like, I know it's not fun to go watch a team win 69-3, but you should go watch that because you should just appreciate Will Stein. He's really good. Their schedule is cake. It really is. They play Penn State, and then they dodge Michigan. They dodge Ohio State. They have like USC, Purdue.
They got Oregon State this weekend.
Brother.
You don't believe in Malik Murphy?
You know, it is the Civil War in name alone that rivalry game is, because it is going to be one-sided. It is going to be a orange and black bloodbath for the Oregon State Beavers. Rest in peace. Best of luck. It's Oregon by a long shot for me, because I mean, even if all they have to do, in my opinion, is if you lose to Penn State, go 11-1. If you beat Penn State, I think you can go 10-2. I don't think they will go 10-2 if they beat Penn State. I think they'll probably be 12-0. But I don't see it outside of Penn State. I don't see a game where they're going to be a dog.
Yeah.
So it's Oregon for me by a mile.
Fellas, I know we got a couple questions. Any takes on this? Anybody feel passionate about it?
I'll take Ohio State since he took Oregon. So I'll take Ohio State just based on the way that their defense is played. I know, look, they played Texas in week 1. Julian saying looked what he looked like, but the defense balled out against Arch, and maybe that's not that great of a showing now, what we've seen out of Arch these first 3 weeks. So we can talk about that maybe a little bit later. But I love the way that this defense is played, and you talk about the schedule. Obviously, I know they got to go to Illinois, and they've got Penn State at home. We know they're always fraudulent under James Franklin in big games. And then you got to go to the big house in Michigan. So that'll obviously be a big test. But despite what they lost last year, I do like Ohio State to stay on this path in order for them to sort of make a run. If I'm not going to take Oregon, I'll take Ohio State to make that run.
Good deal. So looking at this next question from Charles, what part of the Tennessee offense excites you most after the Georgia game? And I'll kind of lead this off by saying, Joey Hazel actually called a really good game, right? And I know Hype had a lot to do with it too, but like Joey is in there making decisions. And that made me feel good. It made me feel good to see for the first time flashes of 2022 and that Hendon Hooker-led team from Tennessee. So that is mine. Anybody else?
No, they're wearing orange jerseys. None of it excites me.
Okay, well, let me not give you. I think the wide receiver room.
Yeah,
I think that was a big question coming into the season. I think it was a big question going into the Georgia game, and I think a lot of those questions got answered. Chris Brazzell looked like shades of Jalen Hyatt in that game.
Yeah, he did.
I think Mike Matthews, you've really got something. That kid's going to, as he grows up this year, when he starts getting more attention, he'll be a stud for you. Braylon Staley coming out of nowhere and balling, dude. I think you've got to feel really good about not only just the receiver core as a whole, but it looks like their connection with Joey is really on.
Yeah.
And I know one of those interceptions in the game, when you go back and watch it, where Joey was going to put the ball, I think it was going to, I don't remember if it was Chris Brazzell or Braylon Staley.
You talking about the double coverage?
No.
It was Staley. It was Staley. Yeah.
The double coverage INT was just kind of it almost felt like a punt to me.
Yeah.
I know it probably wasn't, and it wasn't intended that way, but it kind of felt that way. Now I'm talking about the one that went straight to KJ Bolden.
Yeah.
Because the receiver, like where Joey put that ball, your receiver just fell.
Yep.
So, I mean, I don't know if he would have gotten there in time. I don't know if Joey let him a little too much, but like when I see that, I'm like, oh, Joey that's timing and rhythm. He expects his receiver to be there. And when he falls, that ball's just going into no man's land.
Yeah.
So like, I think that's something that you've got to feel positive about is they looked like they were on the same page for most of the day. So, and that's something that I think is when it's not there, you can tell, and it's really, really prevalent, and it shows up a lot when quarterbacks and receivers aren't on the same page.
Talking about Joey, Mr. Larnard, is Joey in Heisman talks right now? Jimmy wants to know. Is Joey in Heisman talks?
I believe not. This is not me talking about anything I would bet on, or this is not me talking about betting or gambling. So I'm going to preface it by saying that. But I did see that the odds, increased for him in the Heisman Trophy. So if Vegas is sort of showing that he's a little bit more in that conversation, then yeah. And like I said, like everybody was talking about Nico Iamaleava being in that Heisman conversation or wanting him to be in that Heisman conversation last year.
Yeah.
And he never quite lived up to that hype. Like I said earlier in the show, like he never put up a performance like Joey Aguilar just put up against Georgia. And just watching this game from Joey and hearing his story again, I know they tell this story and, the train trips that he had to take and, going to the community college and then reigniting his love for football and playing well at App State and all of that good stuff and getting a chance to be an SEC quarterback, which I'm sure he always dreamed of, or at least playing at this high of a level at the P5 level. Obviously he was P4 level at this point, going to UCLA and then basically got traded for Nico. Just the fit here feels much better for Tennessee. If he is going to be athletically and football skill wise capable of doing what he just showed you he could do against Georgia, this fit is much better because this kid truly appreciates the opportunity to be here. Nico, it felt like, hey, I'm taking this shit for granted and hey, pay me all this money and I'm a 5-star, this and that and the other thing. He felt almost entitled to that. And I'm not saying he wasn't a hard worker and he wasn't, talented, but it just feels a little bit different. Like Joey really appreciates it and Joey really wants it. And it showed that he's worked for it. And I don't know how much Nico really did or how good Nico really is. Or again, he may have taken things for granted. And to me, that's Heupel said it best when all that shit was happening with Nico. Nobody is above the power T. And Joey fits right in what this program wants to do. So yes, he definitely should deserve some consideration for the Heisman in my eyes. Will he win it? No, but he deserves to at least be in the conversation based on what he did against that Georgia defense with Kirby Smart. That was damn impressive.
Nobody is above the power T, and the guy that you just mentioned is no longer wearing it. Nico, should he transfer, Joseph? What are you doing if you're Nico right now?
Oh, God, dude.
What's up?
It depends on your goals and aspirations, man. Like, why did you go to UCLA in the first place? The answer we're sold is that you wanted to be closer to home, okay?
Yeah.
There's a program right down the road that is much better at developing quarterbacks than UCLA, and you chose not to go there. Now you have a free out. You have a free out to leave UCLA, stay on the West Coast. I mean, I don't think Fresno State's the worst place in the world if he wants to go there. I think you got to get out of UCLA because the way that job is right now, we know UCLA opened. We know Virginia Tech opened.
Yep.
UCLA is not in the position that Virginia Tech is in terms of the job, and neither one of those jobs are great.
For sure.
And they're probably not going to be the last two jobs that open.
No way.
So you are far down the list of coordinators that would probably rather be coordinators at their current schools than the head coach at UCLA because there's no administrative buy-in. They, for some reason, just decided like, yeah, we should join the Big Ten. So you're going to be bottom of the barrel in that conference. It's not a whole lot of good for UCLA. So to me, I think Nico should. I think he should get out. But it all depends on what he wants. If he wants to just ride it out and get paid in college and then go do something else, stay. Because why go through the headache of transferring in somewhere else? But if you want to make this thing legitimate and you want to try to play football at the next level, you have to go somewhere else. there are plenty of options on the West Coast that will take you. Arizona State might be one of them. I think Kenny Dillingham could get something out of him once Sam Leavitt's gone. But it just depends on what Nico wants.
Seeing a lot of parallels to Malachi Nelson for Mr. Iamaleava. Not 1-to-1 comparison for sure, not. But Nelson went USC, went to Boise State, and now he's at UTEP. And man, I don't think Nico should transfer. One, because I just don't know who's going to want to take him, who's going to want to take the baggage. And he's looked pretty bad through 3 games. Yeah. And I know that it may be more of a statement on the state of the UCLA Bruins program as a whole, but Nico has not looked good. And I mean, one, you come with the baggage, and your 5-star name is going to travel a little bit longer than, say, if this was a 4-star quarterback transfer. It just will, just because it's so juicy. Like, there's a reason he was a 5-star. He was a 5-star for a reason. But now you get into this thing where it's, okay, it didn't work at Tennessee, and it's kind of basically come out that my representation was kind of just being a jerk there. And but it wasn't my fault, so I went to UCLA, and then that didn't work out, but it wasn't my fault. It was Deshaun Foster's fault. So now you have to explain away 2 situations where you haven't really worked out. And this may be, I don't know. I don't think he should transfer, but it's definitely going to be his final stop if he does choose to go somewhere else.
It really all depends on what he wants.
Yeah.
Like, because, I mean,
he's not going to win. You're not going to win anything at UCLA.
No,
you're not even going to be competitive for the next, like, UCLA is now in rebuild mode.
Yeah.
You have to find the next hotshot coordinator that wants to be a head coach so bad, or you have to find the old guy that just got fired and is just looking for a head coaching job because that's all he knows.
Like a recycled SEC coach.
Yeah, dude, sure. Yeah. But I don't think there's anybody that would take it though, because it's such a challenging spot. Because one, the fan base has completely left that program. You can see it in these pictures. I mean, the fan base was probably not on board with him joining the Big Ten to begin with. And now you're turning over the coach. I saw Pate tweeted out that the transfer portal had opened. I did forget that happens.
Well, when a coach gets fired, you have 30 days.
So people are going to leave for sure. There's going to be people that want to just save what they can, kids that want to just save what they can, get whatever they can get out of this and get out. And now you're just left with Nico is either going to play for a rebuilding UCLA, or he's going to go somewhere worse or a little bit lower level. Because I would be shocked if there was a decent Power 4 teams. Like, sure, yeah, we'll take the baggage and we'll take your on-field play, which you've shown to this point.
Let's stick with our theme of quarterbacks, and let's go back to Gunner. And Jay, I want to kind of talk to you about this. What impressed you most about Gunner on Saturday?
Oh man, his grit. If you watch that game, and you watch a lot of it from the behind the quarterback angles, he takes a lot of shots, a lot of unnecessary shots. And there's times where I don't know what Georgia's offensive line was doing, but they might as well have just been standing still, because there were plenty of free rushers that Gunner just stood in there and made a throw and just got absolutely blasted. So it's his grit, man. And then also, I can't get over the throw on 4th down. No, dude. I felt
like I was watching Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, right? I mean, I don't want to pinpoint one throw because, like, it's one throw, But God, it was beautiful. It was beautiful, absolutely beautiful. Give me the 4th down throw, but mostly his grit, man, to just stand in the pocket, take shots, and deliver the ball when you needed to. Because he did that a couple of times on 3rd downs, once on a 4th down to Colby Young. And those for sure kept you in that game.
Let's go to our NFL insider. This is kind of an NFL, but also a college football question, Greg. How much more of Arch Manning struggling do we need to see to declare him a bust? And do you think it's truly Arch or the lack of playmakers around him?
I don't know if this is a question for me. I feel like this is a question more for Joseph or Drew. Because I'll be honest, I haven't gotten a chance to watch him much outside of the Ohio State game.
No. I'm not ready I'm not even close to ready to declare him a bust.
No,
because I keep going back to the second half of that Ohio State game, and specifically in that game, there were 2 throws that he makes. And I thought to myself, there's only about 2 guys in college football right now that can do that at any given time, and one of those is Arch Manning. And I just think it's a year too early. I think he came in to a fantastic Texas team last year, specifically a Texas team with a lot more weapons than he's got now, and he doesn't have that. And I think this is just kind of working through the kinks.
Yeah.
I'm definitely on high alert for this Texas team may miss the college football playoffs if Arch and these receivers and honestly the running backs continue to look like this. But I am so far from ready to declare Arch Manning a bust.
Listen,
I don't even know what it would take. Like I think he'd have to throw like 7 picks, and then maybe I could maybe get on that wavelength. But
listen,
I mean,
man,
he was pretty ineffective last week. I mean, his efficiency was way down.
I get it.
He had like a 44 QBR or something like that.
Yeah, I get it. It was bad.
Here's my thing, and it's something Drew and I pointed out on the instant reaction show, is that my concern level for Arch isn't necessarily dependent upon how fluid the Texas offense looks or how good the weapons are around him. It's all mechanics based.
For sure.
So if his mechanics have regressed from last year, that to me is a huge red flag, because there wasn't a massive staff turnover at Texas.
No.
So there wasn't somebody that come in and said, "Hey, we're going to change everything about the way that you throw the football and like to throw the football." And again, I'm not a quarterback's guru. I don't study quarterback mechanics, but that is something that I am concerned about.
That's such a good
because
point.
It feels like, looking at him last year, just the confidence he was delivering the ball with, and maybe it was the receiver thing. Maybe he just felt better with Gunnar Helm and Matthew Golden. And watching him play against ULM and UTEP and Mississippi State last year, he looked like he had command.
Yeah.
And now he just looks, I don't want to say nervous, but it looks like something's off or something has changed. I don't know what that is, and that's pure speculation. I don't have any basis about insider knowledge or anything from anybody even remotely close to Arch or Texas to base that off of.
Yeah.
But when you watch him play, something doesn't look right. And to me, if he's hurt, that's one thing. It's like, that happens. You know, it's part of football. It's a tough sport. And when you have to do a throwing motion and move your body the way that quarterbacks do, yeah, being hurt in certain areas is going to affect your mechanics.
Definitely.
But if he's not hurt and his mechanics have just gotten worse for no reason, I'm not going to call him a bust, because I will not let myself forget what Steve Sarkisian did to Mac Jones. I refuse.
Sark is a dog.
I refuse.
Oh, Mac Jones looked pretty good this week.
And he did.
Yeah, but I mean, and I know he's throwing to Devontae Smith in 2020. Like, I get it.
Yeah.
The weapons that Alabama had that year were much better than what Arch has right now. But no, I'm not selling myself on Arch Manning, because I think as a podcast, we didn't really buy into like he's going to be God's gift to the quarterback position. Like, he's ready now. And I think if you looked at Arch and you looked at what he's done and you just swapped his name and he was Julian Sayin, people would be like, it's his first year, man. Give him time. Yeah. But because his last name is Manning, and because of what we dealt with in the offseason with his hype and the way that it was like, he is God's gift to quarterbacks.
Yeah.
It's just, people are like wanting to sell on a kid that started 3 games. And I'm just not there yet. So I'm not there yet. My like we said on the reaction show, my panic meter's up a little bit higher. My concern meter's up. Sorry. Concern meter's up, but I'm not panicking.
Yeah.
So
I'll take everybody's Arch stock. I'll buy if I got to get in this low in the market. I'll take it all, because I'm going to go and bet that the Arch the finished product is a lot closer to what we saw last year. And I don't get why he looks so bad. I think there's got to be some underlying issue, injury, coordinator, just timing is off. But yeah, I'll buy everybody's Arch stock. Go ahead and send it my way. I'll invest. I'll triple down, double down. I'll take it at 15 cents. I'll turn it into $1 million.
Turn it into $1 million. Well, speaking of this program, and these programs are worth millions, but have been looking like they're on the $5 menu so far this year. I'm talking about Clemson and Notre Dame. As a whole, this is a question for Hannah. Who are you more concerned about, Notre Dame or Clemson? Anybody can go.
I guess I'll take it. Nobody spoke up, so I guess I'll go. I am more concerned right now about Notre Dame. I actually think Clemson's going to be fine in the ACC. I think they're going to be able to kind of sleepwalk their way into this. The biggest thing for me is that both of Clemson's games have been winnable by Clemson.
Yeah.
They have been in Clemson's purview to take what's theirs, win the ball game, get out of there, escape. These are high profile early season matchups. You start conference play with Georgia Tech, before then with LSU. The only thing would be that they looked really bad against Troy. I don't quite understand what happened there. I think maybe some sluggishness coming off the game of the week in week 1 with LSU. But here's why I'm worried about Notre Dame. I think we've seen them play some pretty good football so far. I think they played pretty well. I think they played decent against Miami, and I actually think they probably played their best football against Texas A&M. And if you have to ask me who I'm going to trust more, Cade Klubnik or CJ Carr taking the snaps when I don't think Clemson's played very well, and I think Notre Dame has played very well, I'm worried about Notre Dame. And they're an independent, and they have 2 losses, and they're 0-2. So if they drop another one, they certainly aren't making the college football playoff.
Oh, I'll take this. I'll take this because I am on the complete opposite side, because it just says as a whole. It didn't say about college football playoffs. I'm worried about Clemson. You've got all these guys coming back on defense. You've got a veteran quarterback coming back in Cade Klubnik, who he's in his 3rd year starting in the program now. Yep. And for all intents and purposes, both these teams in my head are 0-2. You played Troy, Clemson, right, and you barely got that win. So if we're comparing who Notre Dame's played and who Clemson's played, Notre Dame's played 2 potentially top 10 teams. One, I think, is a bona fide top 10 team in Miami. The way they look on the offensive line and the defensive line is completely different than how they looked last year.
Yeah.
They look ready and nasty. And you're telling me Notre Dame had to go on the road, start a freshman quarterback with a brand new defensive coordinator, and they only lost by like 3? And then they come home, still take a week off, I get it, but you're playing freshman quarterback, 1st year starting, brand new defensive coordinator, and if you ask the Notre Dame fans, they all think Chris Ash should be shipped off to some 3rd world country because they think that defense has regressed. And watching a little bit of what I watched for Notre Dame, I kind of agree with them a little bit. But if you look down the schedules, they're mostly playing ACC teams.
Yeah.
So their strength of schedule at the end of this feels kind of similar to me. The big difference is that Clemson gets Florida State, and they have a chance to win a conference title game. But, like, if you're rolling into that conference title game, which I don't think you'll make, because I'm leaning more towards thinking it's going to be Florida State and Miami, at least the way it's looked right now. Clemson's on the outside looking in. There's no separation for me with them and Notre Dame. Because, I mean, I know Notre Dame can't make a conference title game, but I don't think Clemson, the way that they looked, you can't run the ball on Georgia Tech. No disrespect to Georgia Tech and Brent Key.
Yeah, but I hear you.
Notre Dame could run the ball on Georgia Tech.
Yeah.
Like they could do that. Jeremiah Love would probably feast on that
There's
defense.
no probably, brother.
So, I mean, if you're asking me who I'm more worried about, I'm more worried about Clemson. Yeah. For sure. Notre Dame also just came off a national championship appearance.
True. You're right.
So, like,
you're right.
You give yeah. Well, I mean, dude, you had a veteran quarterback in Riley Leonard that left. You had a defensive coordinator that went to the NFL. Like, do I know if Chris Ash is the guy? Not really. It's been 2 games against 2 of probably the better teams. Like, name me a team that has opened with 2 harder games.
Nobody in the country.
Then Texas A&M at home and Miami on the road.
Yeah.
LSU.
Yeah, but first 2 games, LSU got a beater in between those.
Louisiana Tech,
like, don't get me wrong, Notre Dame had an off week, but that's live reps that you don't get. Like, if Notre Dame, I think they might have preferred to play like a Northern Illinois,
Ball State. Yeah,
sorry.
Oh, don't say Northern Illinois. Come on now.
But I think they would have preferred to play like an FCS team. There's more reps for CJ.
Yeah.
So I'm infinitely more worried about Clemson right now. And also because if it comes down to it, I know Marcus Freeman will dip into the transfer portal and get what he needs.
Yeah.
They'll do that. Clemson's got one guy, and he's from Purdue, and now he's the best player on your defense. Like,
yeah.
I need a philosophy shift from Clemson.
Sure.
Because
I don't know. I think Clemson still has a better roster. I know they haven't looked good, but I'm more worried that Notre Dame looks this good already.
See, that's the problem for me is Clemson has the better roster and they've looked worse. They've looked worse against worse competition. Take the LSU game out of it. Let's just do the last 2 games they've played. They've looked worse against Troy and Georgia Tech than Notre Dame did against Miami and Notre Dame.
Listen,
or Miami and Texas A&M.
You guys thought I was crazy for picking Georgia Tech, but I saw it. I saw Dabo does not believe in Cade anymore. He's out.
I didn't think you were crazy. My philosophy for Clemson was like, I felt like the spot they were in with losing at home to LSU, and then just the piss poor performance against Troy at home. And I know it's a weather delay and the weather's awful, and like I get that, but like you're Clemson, man. You are Clemson. And if you're going to do things the Clemson way, Apple, then you can't be struggling with Troy like that and want me to take you serious, because the rest of your conference is a joke outside of Miami and Florida State this year. So I don't know, man. I mean, tenured head coach, sticking to his guns, and he might be like Jack Sparrow going down with the ship, dude. Like we'll see. We'll see.
Greg, any last words from the great state of, I can't even say the great state of Alabama, man. It's not going to come up twice.
No. Well, what Chase prefaced it was like, the only reason it's great is because you're there. So I feel comfortable saying the great state of Alabama while you're currently in the state of Alabama. No, I think we covered it pretty well. This has been a fun show. Good to talk some ball with you boys again. I wasn't able to be on all last week. I kind of left y'all to your own devices with the guests and things like that. I hope it was amazing. The instant reaction show after the fact on Saturday nights with Joseph and Drew is money. They kill it. I love listening to you guys just analyze what we just watched all day on Saturday. So you guys keep doing your thing and keep killing it. And Miggy, what the truck, bro?
What the truck, indeed, man. You already used our one F-bomb, so I'm going to keep it PG, but I'm really freaking excited and love the night chat, to your point, Drew, as well as Jay. Y'all are freaking crushing it. Yeah, man, it's awesome. And I know we got some great stuff coming this week. Brand new Core 4 going to be dropping on Thursday, so we'll get into that. Some more college football talk on Thursday. We're going to be with Hits 96 this week, of course, for your Chattanooga Sports Minute. So make sure you guys listen into that. Follow us, like, and subscribe on all platforms. CEO Chase Green, of course, taking the night to be a family man, and we love and miss you, man. We'll see you back in the saddle here on Thursday. From all of us here at Chatted Up Sports, we love you and we appreciate you. We'll catch you on Thursday, Friday. You know it. Bye.